Hello everyone, my name is Geordie and today I'm going to show you how to make your own camera at home. And you'll need to make this camera 2 cardboard boxes, so as long as they fit, one of them fits inside the other one. So a big one like this and a slightly smaller one like so. And you'll also need a magnifying glass lens. So this is quite a big one, but you can probably get away with one that's about that big, or bigger than that, at least that big. You might need mum and dad's help to get it out of the frame with a hammer or something. So a magnifying glass lens, and copious amounts of duct tape, a marker, some baking paper, some sticky tape, and something to cut the boxes with. So I've got a box cutter here, but you might need mum and dad's help if you're using that, or if you've got the patience, you can use scissors. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to tape up the boxes. So these ones have been used and the lids are coming off. So I'll show you. So we'll tape them up first so that they're not all coming off. Here we go. This is where the duct tape comes in. All right, what we need to do now is to cut a hole in the side of the big box for the little box to slide in and out of. So what you need to do is grab your big box and your little one and line them up so you can draw around the outside of the little box and you know how big the hole is that you need to cut in it. So let's have a look. I'll grab my marker and we'll draw around and see. Alright, so the little box needs to fit inside the big box snugly, but not too tight. You need to be able to move it in and out fairly smoothly, but not so much that it's loose. So now I'll cut the hole in the big box. And this is where you might need mum and dad's help, because you don't want to cut yourself. All right, there we go. Now we've got a big hole in our big box and the little box should be able to slide in and out. Have a look. Have I cut it big enough? No, so I haven't quite cut it wide enough. So I'll need to widen it just ever so slightly. Here we go, let's try again. Should slide in and out. There we go. A nice snug fit of the little box inside the big box. All right, now we're going to take the little box out and we're going to make a space inside the front of the big box, so the other end to the hole you've just cut, inside the front of the big box for the lens to go in. So we need to get our lens and put it on the front there. We'll get our marker and we'll trace around it so we know how big the hole needs to be. So we'll trace around we go, like so. All right, and now we've got a nice circle that we can cut around. All right, there we go. Cut that out now, pop it out. And that should be the right size for the lens to fit in. Now we need to tape it in. Tape it in so it fits in there like that. So I'm going to turn it up the other way and show you that the best way of doing it is from the top. So you pop the lens down in there when it's sitting flat, and then you can tape the lens from the inside. Make sure try not to obscure too much of the lens with the tape. Try and keep it as much of it clear but make sure it stays in. So here we go, I'll take that in. Alright, there we go. I've taped the lens in. As you can see, I've put duct tape all around it so it's solidly in. There it is from the other side. So, that's the first step of our camera. There we go. So what we need to do now, we've finished with our big box now. We're going to get our little box again, and we're going to do a little bit more with it. Here we go. Now with the little box, we need to cut 2 holes in it. Now one of them is going to be very small. It's going to be an eyepiece. So just needs to be very little, and it needs to be at the back, and it only needs to be about that big. Alright, so now the other end, the hole needs to be a little bit bigger. So it needs to be not quite to the edge, but a few centimeters in on all sides. So you don't have to mark it out this time, just cut around. So that way. All right, there we go. So now both of your boxes should have 2 holes. On the big box, there should be a small hole for the magnifying glass lens and a big hole for the small box to slide in and out of. And the small box should have a big hole. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. And then a little hole at the other end for you to look through. So, what are we doing with this big hole? Well, now we need our baking paper. So we need enough baking paper to cover over the large hole in the little box. Here we go. So you need to stick it on over the large hole in the little box and try and make sure it sits as flat as you can. It can be quite difficult to get it to sit that flat, but just as flat as you can and it'll be all right. So I'll use the sticky tape for that. Here we go. So this baking paper is for the light coming in through the bigger box, through the magnifying glass lens, to shine on. And if you look through, we should be able to see a projected image. So now, once you've got that all together, so you've got your big box with a big hole at one end and a magnifying glass lens at the other end, and your little box with baking paper over a big hole at one end and a little eye hole at the other end. Now we put the little box inside the big box. Here we go. Now the reason we've got 2 boxes is so, here we go. The reason we've got 2 boxes is so you can slide this smaller box in and out of the large box. And that's how you focus. So let's head over to the window and look out the window and we'll see what the camera can see. All right, let's go. All right, now I'm sorry you can't quite see me properly because of all the light behind me, but I need that much light to show you how the camera works. So here it is. I've got my large cardboard box with a smaller one inside it. And if I point it out the window where there's enough light, and I look through the little eye hole, and I move it back and forth until I get it into focus, I can see what's outside. So I'll bring it up to the camera and show you. Here we go. So looking through the eye hole. Right, so it's out of focus. So if I move the box back and forward, it brings the picture into focus. And there we go. But what do you notice about it? It's upside down, isn't it? Why is that happening? Why is the picture upside down? You can see all the people going past and the cars and the sunlight. But why is the picture upside down? Well, I can tell you about that. So, let's go around here so you can see my face. So, it's upside down because the light is coming through the small magnifying glass lens. And what's happening is, it's coming in at this angle and at this angle, and it's coming through the lens and it's being switched upside down, and it's called the Camera Obscura effect, which is a special Latin name that I think Da Vinci came up with. And it's what happens in your eyes as well. So there's a lens in your eyes. So the light comes through here, and so it gets switched upside down. And so when it hits the back of your eyes, it's an upside down image, like when the light hits the baking paper on the small cardboard box. But your brain is clever enough to turn it the right way up again, so you're not living in an upside down world the whole time. So that's how a camera works. So the camera that I'm speaking into now, there's a glass lens and the light is coming in at that angle and at that angle, and it's being switched upside down, and it hits the digital sensor, the silver plate at the back of the camera. And then the computer in the camera turns it upside down so it comes out the right way up. And that's how cameras work. Now, I think we've just about finished now. So see if you can go and make your own camera and send in any pictures of your cameras that you've made, if you've made some interesting ones. But in the next video that I'll post next week, I'll show you how you'll be able to take a picture with this camera. And you'll need some special bits and pieces, but it can be quite fun once you've done it. So, thank you all very much for watching, and thank you to Museums Victoria for giving us a lovely grant which enabled us to buy all the magnifying glass lenses and cardboard boxes and things. No. But thank you, Museums Victoria. I hope you're enjoying your school holidays and you have some fun crafting your very own camera.